Guys, we are at the theater, literally, and look at this. Look how sick this is. I'm so excited for this freaking movie. Nick, what are your predictions for the movie, bro?
Something MCU related.
This kid. But guys, I'm super excited. Again, this is gonna be the attachment before the video, my review. I just wanted to come in and show you guys the theater that it has, our IMAX theater that we have in Pittsburgh. So, I just want to show you how cool this thing was. It's so sick. I wonder if we're going to get one of those tomorrow, because they are going to give out posters tomorrow for IMAX. So, we'll probably get one tomorrow when we come to IMAX. Today we're seeing it in regular, and tomorrow we're going to be seeing it in IMAX. I'm going to be seeing it with my friends on the weekend too. Literally, I think this will break my record, possibly of Civil War, how many times I'm going to be seeing this movie. I think so. And I saw that movie 7 or 8 times, literally. So I think it might break my record. On top of that, literally, I think this could be the Captain America movies on how good this movie might be. And me saying that literally means something, because I'm a big fan of Captain America and his movies and his trilogy. But I think, honestly, this movie might be able to be that, and this movie definitely deserves to take the throne of my favorite movies, which are the Captain America movies. This movie definitely might deserve to take that throne. So, guys, we'll see you guys after the movie for our review. I'll talk to you guys later. Hey everybody, it's Zach, aka Zach's Reviews. We are back again with another video, and guys, I just got back a few hours ago from Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Guys, this movie literally is hands down one of the best Marvel movies ever. Literally, this movie has the potential of being the best Marvel movie of this year. Seriously, I think this is the best action I've ever seen out of all the other Marvel movies. I would say this is probably the best action we've seen. Also, I think this is the best, origin story of Marvel that I've seen. I would say this is the best origin story, literally, that Marvel's done out of all the origin stories that we've seen before. I'm a big Captain America fan and everything, but literally, I think I would probably put this movie over the Captain America movies. And I'm totally gonna have to do a re-ranking of how I rank the Marvel movies, because this is so high up there with Endgame and Infinity War and the Captain America movies. I would probably, my honest opinion, I would probably put it over the Captain America movies. Honestly, so I had a blast with this movie. I knew this movie from day one, from the first teaser trailer we got. This movie was going to be a success, be extraordinary, be beautiful, be gorgeous, be great cinematography, great action, great martial arts. Everything. I knew this movie was going to be a masterpiece. I knew that this was just going to be this movie was going to change the game in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I was so happy that that this movie was made. I can't get over it, how great this movie was. I literally, to the start of before we even got into the movie, I was just so giddy. I felt like a child, like a kid again. Honestly, this movie made me jump around in my seat and want to fight too, like how I felt when I was younger, when I used to watch Three Ninjas, when I used to watch Power Rangers, when I used to watch Ninja Turtles. This made me feel like a kid again. And I'm gonna be honest, the only movies that really made me feel like that of the Marvel universe was the Captain America movies. I felt like that was my favorite character. But I'm gonna be honest, I think Shang, the character Shang, really took the spot of Captain America for me. I think so. He is my new favorite character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I'm so happy Simu got, this role. He deserves it. He's an awesome actor. Literally, I love him in Kim's Convenience. I'm so happy. When he was announced, I checked who he was, what other acting projects he's done, his background and stuff. So, of course, I watched, Kim's Convenience. That was the first show I watched, and I saw his acting talent. I saw how good his range was, and the fact that he went from that to this is so awesome. Literally, he killed this performance. This literally is a family story, and you really feel the family dynamic of the troubles that go on in the family, of the good side of his mother and the bad side of the father. Him finding out what his father has done, and going through pretty much it's a story about good and evil, and but accepting the good and evil from both sides of the parents and stuff, and just seeing that story be told. And to start off this movie, seeing the story of the Ten Rings, and they're explaining the story of the Ten Rings. And I'm terrible, literally, like with subtitles, but I didn't notice it. I did not notice it. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm a bad reader, literally. Like, so me seeing the subtitles, but me like not noticing they were there and just feeling the story, literally, just like you feel like the story when it's being told, like, you know what I mean. You just, and it was just a beautiful story. I felt like I love, like, storytelling, and like them telling the story of the Ten Rings, telling the story about how like when Wu got the Ten Rings, and there's, he could have used them for evil, I mean he could have used them for power, for use them for good, but he used them, as anybody else probably would have used them, for power. And I love how they explain that he got these rings, but he used them to gain power. He didn't use them for the sake of helping people. And I just love, it's explaining how he just took over compound after compound throughout the years. He made this, organization and he called it the Ten Rings. And they're explaining, the backstory of him getting the rings, and, him, pretty much taking over, multiple, like, places around the world, like making different compounds and stuff, and seeing him become who he is, as we all know as the Mandarin. But like, he even like says he wasn't like, he even explains about how Trevor Slattery like took the name of the Mandarin, and he was hired and stuff like that by a terrorist in America, like, and giving the name the Mandarin because he heard about the Ten Rings and stuff, and hired Trevor Slattery and all that. He explains that, and he says I can't believe they named, they really, people were afraid, literally, after a food dish and stuff. Like, he was making fun of the fact that his name, like, that has, like, people, like, the name of the Mandarin, he was making fun of it. Like, they literally took all of the the stereotypical, like, stuff out of them. Like, they really, like, said, we're gonna take all of the all the stereotypes and stuff like that, and we're just gonna throw it out the door. You know what I mean? We're really gonna make this an awesome movie. And they did that, and they did such a great job. Like, the world building in this movie, for how beautiful it was, from how they're showing the story in the beginning of explain, the mother is is explaining the story and telling the story of how Wenwu and how like Wenwu met his mother, but she's explaining it to Shang and stuff, as we end up finding out that she's explaining it to him on how his father got the rings, and how they met, and how he just wanted power until he met her. And seeing that big fight sequence in the forest of where, like, where the mother is from, that was so freaking cool. It was so, like, gorgeous, like, just the world that they built. It's like, especially of like magic and creatures, the world that she was from. They lived from two different worlds. Like, they're like star-crossed lovers, and they met each other, and they had children, and it was just so cool to see that magical place. It was like a bamboo forest, but like it was like a maze, and like you had to go through the maze to get to this magical, like, realm and stuff. It was just so awesome. It reminded me of so many different things. It was just so beautiful and so unique, the world and stuff, and the creatures, those lion, they were like lion dragons or something. I'm not sure what they were, but like they were so awesome, and so just out of this world. Like, it was so beautiful, like the way the creatures, like how they made the creatures and stuff, and just the world of like where the mom was from, and like how the mom like showed like when we more of like who you can be. I believe in you to be a better, like, to be a good person. I know you're a good person. And no one ever called him Wenwu except the mother. And I just love that dynamic. And it was cool to see how Shang spent his time in America, and San Francisco, and it was cool because like he explains him trying, he was hiding from his father, and he gave him he gave like himself an American name, Sean, instead of Shang. And it was funny because Katie's like, oh, you really thought your father couldn't find you when you named yourself Sean, but your real name is Shang. He totally would find you or whatever. And he's like, oh, I was like 13, okay, like it was just funny. Like he was like, saying I was 13, okay, I wasn't thinking it through. But seeing their like Katie and Shang's dynamic and stuff, Aquafina and Simu Liu's, how like they're you really believe they were friends, like really great friends, and they just had a great on-screen chemistry. They just did an amazing job. I really felt like they were friends, and it was just so good, and just I really believed it. So I just it was just great, believability that I believed that they were best friends and they've been friends for years, and them working as a valets, and they're and Katie wants to take the joyride, and he's like, oh no, we can't do this, and and she's just swerving in and out of the lanes, and she's just having the blast of a time, and and literally it's funny because while their friends have grown up, you know what I mean, like their friends have taken responsibilities and stuff like that, they are still they're happy with their jobs, and they're, and this is like they're becoming on, like they're trying to find out who they are in this movie, and we see that through the movie of who are they, like I mean, like who, like because they don't really know who they are, and where they really belong in the world, and we really see that through this story on how the movie ends, like who they are and who they're going to be throughout, from what we'll know going forward in the MCU. So I really, really enjoyed seeing their journey of them finding out who they are. I really, really enjoyed that a lot, and seeing Shang's sister, Xiaoling, she was freaking phenomenal. That is probably my second favorite character of this movie, Xiaoling. Literally, like she was just awesome. She was just an awesome character. Literally, she was kicking ass. She really like put Shang in his place and stuff. With their story on why they haven't talked in so many years, and why she just doesn't she just she doesn't really like him at the time, because he abandoned her when she was younger, and there's more to why he abandoned her and stuff, because he felt like he couldn't go back, because he actually when we found the killer of his mother, and knew that and he knew that he couldn't go back because of what his father turned him into, and he just didn't want to go back. So pretty much he ran away from home when he was sent on that assignment to kill, the killer of his mother, which he ended up doing it. He ended up doing it, and he didn't want to come back, after, because he was ashamed of what his father turned him into after of the passing of his mother. And he even said to Xiaoling, like, I'll be back in like 3 weeks. I'm gonna be back. Okay, it's fine. But he never came back, and she held a grudge. She left when she was like, I think like 13 or 16. She left in the underground tunnels of the compound, and she ended up making her own fighting ring. She ended up like being the owner of her own fighting underground fight club. And that was a really cool scene, seeing them fight. When he ended up finding out that he was fighting her, he didn't want to fight her, but she wanted to fight him. And I really did like how they there was tension between them, and he didn't want that, but he got it, because again, he said he was going to come back, and he never did. And I just loved that tension. I loved them, rekindling their brother and sister bond again by the end of the film. I just love where that was going. I really did enjoy that, because it makes sense that would be there after he said he'll be back, and he never came back. And especially because it was even worse, because when we ignored Xiaoling literally her entire life, because it reminded Winwu of his wife, literally. So he's like, you remind me of your mother, I can't even look at you. And he never excluded her in all the fight training that he put Shang through. So literally that was there was she's I taught myself fighting, because he wouldn't teach me, but I did it. But I learned, and I learned how to do it better than everybody else, even though he wouldn't teach me. And she just was this strong, awesome, kick-ass woman. Literally, she was kicking ass in this freaking movie. Again, she's like literally my second favorite character of the movie. Like, she was stealing the show. With the, Shang. So I really, really loved those characters. Those are like my two favorite characters. I love all the characters in the movie, literally. But like, those are my two favorite characters. Like, her fight sequences were cool. And that was like actually the first time, the actress, her name is, Menger Zhang. I'm sorry. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. I hope I said that right. But this is her first debut, and she plays Xiao Ling in this movie. And I I just I just think she just did an amazing job. This was her first acting debut. This was her first time doing, any type of martial arts training. And I literally thought she knew martial arts in real life. Like, she did a phenomenal job. And, I just love your character, and I cannot wait to see you going forward in the MCU, see what your character is going to be doing. Because, by the end of this movie, we see her taking over the compound. So I'm excited to see what she's going to be doing going forward. And she just had a lot of kick-ass scenes. But going with the scene where he finally he's going to go talk to his sister after his Shang's pendant gets taken, his mother, because his mother gave them both pendants linked back to where she was from. And that's like the whole like story of like how like it's like a map to get to the to like the place he was from. So that was like the whole point of he was Winwu was going after their pendants to find where the mother, like, to get to the place the mother was from, because Winwu was always trying to get to that location, but and that's how he met that's how he met their mother. So I really do think that was cool on how to want to find the kids again and bring them into the story. I thought that was very cool to bring them back in with the father and stuff like that. So seeing that moment when they're at the underground fight club and after they're done fighting and stuff, but like there's a whole breakout cool sequence where we see they when they find out that Shang he's like, you sent me this note, you sent me this postcard telling me where you were. So like, that's why, I came here. You sent me this. Like, why'd you send me this if you said, if you're telling me now you didn't want to see me? And she's like, I didn't send you that postcard. And it was a way of Winwu knowing that he would go after his sister if they came after the pendants. So he's like, oh, great. Like, and he's like, and then they ended up breaking in, all Winwu's assassins start breaking in of the 10 rings. And, there's a moment where they're like, oh, great, what are we going to do? Because, Xiaoling, she ends up leaving and pretty much leaving them for dead, essentially. And that we get to that whole cool clip that we saw, the scaffolding clip, with Katie and Shang on the scaffolding, and he's like, go, I'll buy you some time, and the whole breakout cool fight sequence. Literally, they were so clever with the advertisement for this movie, because there was a lot that they didn't show in the advertisement of the scaffolding clip, of everything, that I was just so happy they didn't give away the whole entire movie in the promotional, trailers, teasers, clips, and everything, and TV spots. They literally showed the right amount, but also like giving us enough to be like, oh, we're really excited for this movie, because I kid you not, that there's so much we did not see in all the promotional stuff that I'm so glad they did not show, because that whole fight sequence on the scaffolding was so freaking sick. It was even cooler than when I saw it on the clip. It was just so cool to see it in the theater on the big screen, and that one moment where like there was a moment literally with like with when Xiaoling does come back, and Katie's about to fall, and Xiaoling catches Katie and helps Shang fight Winwu's army literally off, off of Shang, and so they can get away. So they're fighting and stuff. Shang and Xiaoling, they're literally fighting. And they're kicking ass. And it's so cool to see them work together as a team. I was like, this is so sick. And there's a moment where like a death dealer comes out, takes her pendant, because they need 2 of the pendants to find the location of where the mother was from. So I was like, okay, shit, and you know, Xiaoling's like, he took my pendant, go after him. And there's a cool sequence where Shang is running through like this like the unfinished like down this hallway trying to stop, you know, Death Dealer from getting away, and like he tackles him, and there's a whole big fight sequence that breaks out that we've seen with like how like Shang catches like the knife in like the trailers and everything we've seen. That fight sequence was so fast, so quick. That's the type of fighting and martial arts I love. That fast-paced brawling, like gritty brawl. That was what I wanted, and I'm so glad I got it. This whole movie gave me my favorite versions of martial arts, and like I'm so grateful for that. This movie was just so freaking awesome. Seeing that fight sequence, I would say that fight sequence, like that was like that one moment was like it was one of my favorite moments. But like there were so many good moments in this. I also love the one moment where before, like he's still like he's still like living his normal life in America, and then next thing you know, there's the goons on the bus sequence where like it was the clips like you think he can fight or whatever, and because of that one clip, and it goes like that one big bus sequence was so freaking cool, because it's like that's what started it all off. Like that was a cool sequence. He did one thing where like he was like running on top of the bus, and then he like grabbed the mirror and he swung back, and like he swung around to get to the door to get back inside the bus. That whole fight sequence between Winwoo's like soldiers trying to get his pendant and take him back home was such a cool sequence, literally. Just the whole like the choreography in this movie was just beyond insane. And the CGI was perfect, the choreography was great, so that whole fight sequence was so sick to see on the bus. And to see him fight also Razor Fist, that was a cool sequence. I do wish we got a little bit more of dialogue from Razor Fist, but it was enough that it was like, okay, he's not the main character, he's just there, okay, fine. But Razor Fist was a really cool character, but I just loved everything that Death Dealer did. That was just so cool to see Death Dealer, train him at a young age, and then them have that like rematch, and he's having like flashbacks of how Death Dealer was treating him, while training him, and he was literally about to, like, he got the upper hand on Death Dealer, saying, you trained me, but I'm better than you, and he was about to stab him, but then, Wenwu came in and says, no, that's not happening, you're coming back home, you and, Xiaoling, you guys are coming back home, that's just it, let's go. So, when they get back to the compound, he's saying that, he thinks his wife is alive, and he's being called to where she's from, and and he's like, the village that she's from, and he's like, I needed your pendants to get the location of where your mother, was like, where her village is from. I need to save her. I think she's being held captive by by where she, like, by her people. Like, I think she's being captured and stuff. So I think they're holding her captive. So, but it's the evil behind that we end up finding out, like, in like this magical place that Shung's mother is from. There's an evil there that the Great Protector, which is the dragon, is like, is the protector of the village, and protects the people from that, that greater evil monster. And the monster is calling out to Wenwu to pretty much, because he knows like because he knows that Wenwu's rings will pretty much release him, will release the monster. So that's why he's like playing tricks with Wenwu, saying, like pretending to like be, the mother, and say, they're keeping me captive. Oh, this, like, what I mean? Like, oh, I need help. You can help me. And it's just it's the monster playing tricks on him. And even Shang and in Xiaoling literally know. They're like, no, like, I mom's dead. Like, I don't know, like, it's over with, you know what I mean? She's dead, she's gone, you know what I mean? We have to move on, like this and that. And he just can't do it. Like, literally he lost himself from when, she died, so seeing all that go down, of him like thinking, he's like, I thought I could change, you know what I mean? Your mother told me I could change, but like but look what happened from like everything I've done. She ended up dying and stuff because it's because I took off the rings and I wanted to and to live a normal life. Look what happened. But yeah, it was his fault because of all of the crime he's done throughout the years of him not aging because of the rings and him having all the power and stuff. It's because all the stuff he did, made enemies, and they pretty much killed her because of everything he did. So, but the fact that there was a moment like towards the end of the movie where like he blames Shang for the death of his mother and of his like, so seeing that moment go down, it's like I was like, damn, how dare you, bro? Like, you were blaming him and he was young, he didn't know how to fight or do anything, and it was because of you and your crimes and everything you've done that killed mom. You know what I mean? So just seeing all that go down was just a cool fight sequence. Like, the end finale of this movie was just freaking phenomenal. Like, this movie was just so breathtaking, so gorgeous, so phenomenal. And seeing the moment also with when we see Wong and in the big moment where we see Wong and we see Abomination in that fighting ring and seeing all that go down, and they're like friends and stuff, and they end up opening the portal at the end going somewhere. I'm like, oh my god, is that the raft? Like, did you break him out of the raft and you're putting him back in? Like, what's going on here? I'm like, what? Like, where is Abomination that he's just free to roam? Like, I'm confused. So I was like, oh my god, like, I guess him and Abomination are friends because they're in the locker room, and he's like, oh, ease up on me next time or something like that. He's like something like that. But it was just funny seeing Abomination again and seeing how far CGI has come to see how he looks all like humanized, like he looks more human in the face, Abomination. So seeing that was pretty weird, but I was like, oh my god, I was like, it should be interesting to see Hulk and Abomination go up against each other again, because Abomination and the Hulk are supposed to be in She-Hulk, so I'm wondering if we're going to get a rematch or something happening, so that should be very interesting. So seeing that go down, I was like, oh my god, there's such a cool sequence to see more of that, of more why, like, we still don't know why Wong was there at all, and we still don't know why Abomination is there, except it's an underground fight club and all that stuff about, like, so I was like, okay, but I'm wondering, why are they there? Why is Wong doing this? What's what's the point? Is that just a side thing he does? I'm like, I want to know, so I can't wait to figure more about why he was doing that. So with that being said, going towards the end of this movie, where actually, when they end up getting, when they be getting taken back to the compound, and they learn that the father, when they learn that their father thinks that their mother is alive, they're like, okay, he's gonna go destroy that village. We have, like, that's the last of all the memories we have of mom. Like, we don't want him destroying that. You know what I mean? Like, he says, if they don't let him do what he wants to do, he's gonna destroy the village, and we can't let that happen. So they're being trapped in a underground prison stuff, and then that's when we end up finding Trevor Slattery, which I saw from I knew he was gonna be in it because I saw him on the red carpet. I'm like, okay, they kind of just told us that he's in it, because I didn't look at the cast list before and see him on the cast list. So seeing that he was actually, I was like, oh my god, Trevor Ben Kingsley's going to be in it. I was like, oh my god, that's cool. He's going to be playing the Mandarin again. I wonder if we're going to see what happened to him after with the deleted scene with All Hail the Kings or whatever, or the behind the scenes special thing. I was like, oh my god, because we see him getting taken and being taken back to the actual Mandarin, which is Wenwu. So seeing that moment where Wenwu actually, just kept him in prison and didn't kill him, and he's their entertainment, and he's like, oh my god, they loved it when I was acting, I'm the entertainment, I'm down here, I've been perfecting my craft and stuff. And just seeing him, seeing Trevor Slattery again, it was just a blast seeing him again, because he's just so funny and weird, and just so dumb in a way, because he was talking about Planet of the Apes, saying, oh my god, he's like, it impressed me to see those monkeys act, and then Shang is like, what? He's like, you do realize that they weren't actually, he's like, yeah, on horses, you know what I mean, I know, I was so shocked the way how they were able to treat those, how they were able to teach those monkeys how to be on horses. And he's like, oh, okay. And Katie's hyping him up, saying, yeah, man, that's awesome, you love your craft and stuff. And it was just, and you know who you are. It was just so funny just seeing that all go down. And he's like, he's made a connection with this magical creature that has like no eyes, and it's like a little puppy almost. But Katie said, that she said that chicken slash pig, because they have like a body of a chicken, it looks like. And like it had like and like it was just so funny, like the way the creature was made. It was such a cute little creature, and I'm excited to see more of the creatures maybe going forward, of more of like, because we get to see more of Wakanda every time we're in the Marvel universe, and I want to see more of this village on these magical creatures and stuff, because I love this world that they have built in this movie, and I loved the action. Literally seeing the Great Protector dragon was just freaking phenomenal. Literally, the whole fight sequence, like this movie gave me hope for like movies that movies like My Hero Academia, a live action My Hero Academia, that gives me hope for like another like good hopefully a good adaptation of a Dragon Ball Z movie. Like this movie, like I feel like is setting the groundwork for like you can do awesome martial arts and do mystical magical movie, and it can be good. Like this movie set that groundwork where there is literally no excuses. Like this movie is the pinnacle of of awesome, world building, magical, mystical movie, and it just has so much, and I feel like they can really. There's so much to learn from this movie that that is going to set the groundwork for so many awesome movies that come. And I just loved this movie, and that end finale where he's fighting his father for the rings, and we see how like they both have like 5 rings, and they're pulling them and stuff. That was such a sick moment, because he's learned from how his mother was able to control air, like she was like airbending, like he was able to learn that, and because the only one that was able to really stop Wenwu was his mother. So seeing that go down, where he's like learning the art of what she learned from her village, and like how he was using it to get the rings and just do, like, it was just, and they were foreshadowing like what the moves that the mother did is what he was doing to the father, and just it was just a cool moment how he was able to like use those rings. And it was also a cool moment to see like how like they were the stuff they were doing, like the whole dragon sequence at the end, where like the dragon's helping take down these creatures, and he's literally like running on like the dragon, and he's like doing all these cool things with the rings. That was just a sick moment. Like I had so many things going on in my head, like, oh my god, this is just a sick moment. This movie's so freaking awesome. I knew this movie, like I was mind blown of the way it was looking. I was like, this is so sick. It's the right amount of CGI, the right amount, like I'm just having a blast. I was flipping out literally in the theater, and just seeing how going forward on where these characters are gonna go, I'm just excited to see, because we see at the end of this movie we end up coming across. We end up seeing Wong pop up saying, I need you, like, is there a Shang here? And he's like, yeah, I'm here, because he ends up, Shang's back at the diner with Katie and their 2 friends, and their friend, and like and her friend's husband, and they're talking, and this is the same person that says, oh, you like when you guys are gonna grow up, this and that, and they're explaining their like what they went on, their adventure they went on and stuff, and of course she doesn't believe it, and of course that's when Wong comes in and says, oh, I'm gonna need you to come with me, and he's like, he says, do you still have the rings? He's like, yeah. He's like, I need you to come with me right now, and they end up going through the portal. And we end up seeing that the rings, Wong's there, and he's studying the rings, saying there's nothing here in our books about this, mystical object. What is this? And he's talking to 2 holograms of what is it? I can't believe I'm blanking. Of Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, and I can't believe I'm blanking. Why am I blanking on Bruce? Literally, and they're talking to Bruce, and they're all trying to communicate on what these rings are, literally. And seeing that go down, I'm like, oh my god, what I was flipping out when I saw, Bruce, and I saw, Captain Marvel. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, what does this mean? What does this mean? Like, is this bigger? Is this a bigger threat that's coming? Because the rings, as we end up finding out, are sending out a signal, are sending out a beacon, and I'm wondering, what are they sending out to? That's the question. That is literally the question. I love how, like, Danvers is like, okay, I gotta go. She's like, I gotta go. Like, it's nice to meet you guys. And of course, Bruce is like, welcome. I gotta do something too. Welcome to the team. And then he ends up, leaving too on the hologram. And then we end up seeing, Wong say, your lives are going to be different now going forward. Your lives will no longer be the same. This is something beyond, from what you guys usually know from your lives and stuff. So, get some rest, because, there's going to be big things to do. So, seeing that moment, I'm like, already right away, you guys are Avengers. Right away. You just talked to Carol Danvers and you just talked to Bruce Banner. You guys are Avengers. I'm like, let's go. I was like, they are Avengers. Let's freaking go. I'm like, oh my god. I was flipping out. I'm like, oh my god. They're on the radar now of, of Earth's mightiest heroes. You guys are going to help when things go down now. You guys are on the radar of heroes, of being heroes. So you guys are literally, you guys are a part of the Avengers. I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm like, let's get it. I'm stoked. I just want to see these characters again. And literally by the end of this movie, we end up, and it's funny because also when they're like, oh, get some rest, and they're like, and then we see them, of course, doing the karaoke, and they're singing and stuff. Wong's joining them, and they're all drunk, and they're singing karaoke. That was funny. That was a big funny moment. There was a lot of funny moments in this movie, and I loved it. The acting all around was phenomenal. The action was the best action, again, I've seen in a Marvel movie. Hands down, one of the best action I've seen in a very, very long time, from Marvel. Like, I didn't think, like, things could get, like, even more crazier in Marvel with the action, but this movie set the bar so high. I think this phase in general, of cinematography, of action, of story. I think this phase is gonna be like a big step up from last phase. I think this phase is gonna be insane. Literally, I just had a blast with everything. I did. And going toward the end sequence, we see Xiaoling literally taking over, the Ten Rings compound, and she is making her own, assassin, she's making the Ten Rings in her own way, literally. And it's going to be interesting to see where that's going to go going forward, because now she is the leader. I wonder what she's going to be doing. And since she has literally the power of the compound of the Ten Rings now, of all these assassins, what are you going to be doing with them? So it's going to be interesting if we're going to get some type of League of Assassins type thing of I don't know what she's going to be doing. It's just cool because now we have Wakanda, and now we have this place too. So it's gonna be awesome to see these different we're getting these different places, and they're gonna be big key parts going forward in the MCU, of how Wakanda is always gonna be a big key part. And now this place, the Ten Rings compound is gonna be a big key part. It's going to be insane that we're opening the world to these different places. And I'm just excited because, I wonder how she is going to be using that power of having all these different compounds around the globe, and having this much power of, being in charge, what she's going to be doing with it. And it's going to be very interesting to see going forward. But overall, guys, I really enjoyed this movie a lot. Again, I really do have to do a re-ranking, but I'm going to be honest, I'm seeing this movie again tomorrow in IMAX. Sadly enough, my sister couldn't go to the movie tonight. She was super sick. And she told me she won't be able to go tomorrow either, because we bought tickets for IMAX, and she said she was hopefully she's able to go tomorrow, but it turns out she's actually not going to be able to go. So I got to figure out, if I'm going tomorrow in IMAX, I want to go see it in IMAX, but if I can't go see it in IMAX tomorrow, I'm going to be seeing it on the weekend with my friends. So I got to figure out tomorrow how I'm going to be going to see this again, because I really want to see this again. Again, I'm going to be honest, this is the best action I've seen in the MCU, literally. And I didn't think I could say that, but I'm saying it. This movie is visually I think the best Marvel movie. Choreography. I think this is the best choreography. I think this is the best story. I think this is the best story of a character. So I'm gonna be honest. I think this might be the best movie. I don't know. I think this might be the best movie of this phase. Honestly, well, I mean, not of this phase, but like I think this might be the best movie of the Marvel movies of this year. I'm gonna be honest. I think it might be. I mean, again, besides Spider-Man No Way Home, I mean, I don't know how Spider-Man No Way Home is gonna be, except I'm super excited for that movie. But like, I really enjoyed this movie. I think if anything, this could be the second movie of my favorite movie of Marvel of this year. I think this might be my second favorite movie when Spider-Man comes up. I don't know how Spider-Man's going to turn out. All I know is that this is my favorite movie of this year of Marvel, hands down, literally. Honestly, I think this might be my favorite movie in general of this year, if I'm being honest. But there's a lot of other great movies that are coming out. But I think this might be, as of right now, this is my favorite Marvel movie, literally, of this year. And I think in general, literally, I loved this movie. This movie is definitely up there, and I cannot wait to re-rank the Marvel movies because this is just so high up there on how good this movie was. So, and also, guys, I'm going to be doing a live stream on Friday. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing a live. I'm going to try to stay over at my sister's. It depends on how she feels, but I want to do a live stream on YouTube and talk to you guys about what you guys thought about the movie, what your favorite sequences were. I just loved the martial arts in this movie. I loved that big finale of him, like the way that big fight at the end with him and his father was just so sick. The way they were maneuvering with the rings, the way how he was able to use the rings, but also like manipulate them through what he's learned from through what his mother learned of her power and stuff, being able to control the air and stuff. That was just so cool because the mother used her ability to control the air to control the rings as well. So I thought that was very cool as like a foreshadowing of like how he's learned from both his mother and his father. I just thought that was very creative and so cool. But guys, I loved this movie. Honestly, I give it a 10. I give it a 10 out of 10. Literally, this movie is freaking phenomenal. Go check out this movie this weekend if you can. Go support this movie. Literally, the box office. All these different studios are literally looking at Shang-Chi. Looking at the box office to see how much it makes to debate if they want to push back movies until next year. So literally, supporting this movie will help movies stay, at the dates that they're set for this year instead of being pushed back to next year. So literally, you're helping not just this movie, get the love and credit and get the big numbers it deserves, but you're also helping all these other movies that you're going to want to see. So go support this movie. Go check out this movie in theaters. I would recommend definitely go seeing this in IMAX because I think this movie's going to look gorgeous in IMAX. So if you can, go check it out in IMAX. Even if you can't see it in IMAX, this movie looks amazing on screen in general. And just go support this movie. Again, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, put in those notifications, like this video. I'm sorry again, guys, also if I sound a little bit tired or I'm missing a lot of key points of this movie. I was just so excited in the theater, and it's so late right now. It's it's 12:18. I'm super tired. I went to bed super late last night because how excited I was for today. So, but I'm going to be talking about it a lot more again on the live stream tomorrow. I'll get into a little bit, a little bit more about this, I'll really dive deep with you guys because I'm assuming a lot of you guys will see it by tomorrow. So, I'll get into more of the conversation because also, I feel like when I talk to people, I'm able to, get into it more. So I feel like I'm just so tired right now, but I really wanted to get this review up for you guys because I loved this movie. I just loved it. It was everything I thought it would be and more, and I hoped it would be and more. They killed it. They just killed it. They killed it. As of right, yeah, literally, I keep thinking back to all the Marvel movies, and I keep saying to myself, my favorite Marvel movies are the Captain America movies and Avengers Endgame and Infinity War. And, I have my chart up, but, those are, my favorite movies. And I'm thinking to myself, this movie is, I think, surpassing the Captain America movies. And I said in the beginning before the video started, that this movie deserves to take that spot, that mantle And Shang is my favorite character now in the MCU. He's my favorite. He's my new favorite character, and I cannot wait to see where his character and all the other characters going forward in the MCU. Because I'm thinking to myself, what is calling? You know what I mean? Like he's going to be in something big next for sure. Because if the rings are a beacon to something is coming, and that makes me want to theorize and stuff. And I can't wait to theorize with you guys and what you guys think is like what's going to like where do you guys think he's going to make his presence next, and where do you guys think he's going to show up next? Him and Katie and all the other characters, where do you think they're going to show up next? I really want to know that. So if you guys did see the movie, let me know down in the comments below where do you guys think these characters are going to be seen again next, and also let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought about this movie, and do you guys think this is the best Marvel movie of all the Marvel movies? And let me know down in the comments below where would you rank this movie if you can decide to rank it now, where would you rank it? And also let me know in the comments below how was your audience in the theater? I had a pretty big turnout in the theater. Literally, thank God no one sat next to me and my brother, so I was kind of happy about that, because I'm still a little cautious going to the theater, because again, we no longer have the whole mask policy and stuff, so I don't know, it kind of concerns me because you don't know who's vaccinated, and you know what I mean, and who is. So that kind of concerned me. So I wore my mask, after I was done eating. So I was still cautious, and so same as my brother. So I mean, let me know how your theater turnout was. I had a great audience with me. Literally, everybody enjoyed it. We awed. We cheered. We did everything. Literally, this movie was just a masterpiece. And I just want to thank the cast, the crew, the directors, the costume designers, everybody that was involved with this movie. You guys killed it. You guys smashed it. This is my favorite Marvel movie, one of my favorite Marvel movies, and I cannot wait to rank. I cannot wait to rank, this movie with all the other things. But I think this might take the Captain America spots. I'm gonna be honest. I think it might. If not, I think it's right after Captain America for sure. I just love this movie. But guys, without further ado, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, like this video. I would love to see you guys. I would love to have you guys here, part of this family here on this channel. We're growing each and every day. We're almost to 400 subs. That's the new goal. And I would just love to have you guys here to talk to you guys about what you guys thought about this movie. And also tomorrow, I cannot wait to see a lot of you guys in the live stream to talk to you guys about what you guys thought about this movie, because I really want to get into some theorizing, in-depth talk about what you guys think is going to happen. What was your favorite moments? This and that. But let me know down in the comments below about all what was your favorite moment and everything, what you guys thought about the movie. But without further ado, I'm going to end this video here. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.